Would you believe me if I told you that the famously known Charles Darwin isn't just responsible for the theory of evolution, but also one of the most influential pioneers when it comes to the expression of emotions through body language and facial expressions? Many of Darwin's ideas have since been validated, and they sparked further research of nonverbal communication. Albert Mehrabian, an enthusiastic body language researcher in the 1950s, concluded that the total impact of a message is about 7% verbal, that is the spoken word and what it means, 38% vocal, including tone of voice, inflection, and other sounds, and 55% nonverbal. Other researchers came to similar conclusions. Anthropologist Ray Birdwhistell said that the nonverbal component of communication must be even higher, at 65% at least. He also estimated we can make and recognize around 250,000 facial expressions. Body language is an outward reflection of a person's emotional state. If you have ever visited a fortune teller, you probably came away amazed at the things they know about you. They can be so accurate that it seems magical to naive or vulnerable people.
Okay, so I'm wondering, I've been working out a bit and I'm eating better, and I know it's a long shot, but will I ever be named People Magazine's sexiest man alive?
This is the power of body language. A fortune teller will carefully observe your nonverbal signals and use his or her understanding of human nature and knowledge of probability statistics against you. This process is called cold reading, and many of those who use it are often largely unaware of their ability to read nonverbal cues, and so become convinced that they truly must have psychic abilities, which adds to the convincing performance. Throw in a positive expectation from your side, a little show with tarot cards or a crystal ball, and even the most hardened skeptic will start questioning his beliefs. Now to the important part. Can you fake it? Can you try to learn certain poses, hold your hands this or that way, or walk another way to make people believe what they should believe about you? The general answer to this question is no. There will most likely be an incongruency between how you feel and between the main gestures you're showcasing. Even if you try to show how confident you are, there are many more gestures, so-called micro gestures, that are not voluntarily changeable and will give you away. That's why it is foolish to recommend just to learn certain poses by heart without changing your inner state as well. That being said, we can and have to change both if you want to truly succeed. In The Definitive Book of Body Language by Ellen and Barbara Pease, the authors write that gestures and emotions are directly linked to each other. If you feel defensive, for example, you are likely to cross your arms across your chest. But if you simply cross your arms, you will begin to experience defensive feelings.
So we have this evidence, both that the body can shape the mind, at least at the facial level, and also that role changes can shape the mind. So what happens, okay, you take a role change, what happens if you do that at a really minimal level, like this tiny manipulation, this tiny intervention? For 2 minutes you say, I want you to stand like this, and it's going to make you feel more powerful. So this is what we did. We decided to bring people into the lab and run a little experiment. And these people adopted for 2 minutes either high power poses or low power poses. And I'm just going to show you 5 of the poses, although they took on only 2. We find risk tolerance, which is the gambling. What we find is that when you're in the high power pose condition, 86% of you will gamble. When you're in the low power pose condition, only 60%, and that's a pretty whopping significant difference. Here's what we find on testosterone. From their baseline when they come in, high power people experience about a 20% increase, and low power people experience about a 10% decrease. So again, 2 minutes and you get these changes. Here's what you get on cortisol. High power people experience about a 25% decrease, and the low power people experience about a 15% increase. So 2 minutes lead to these hormonal changes that configure your brain to basically be either assertive, confident, and comfortable, or really stress reactive, and feeling sort of shut down. And we've all had that feeling, right?
Number 1. Be open. Openness is one of the most important parts when it comes to the state of mind and the state of body for convincing an attractive and confident picture of yourself. With an open state of mind, you welcome the world instead of rejecting it. You also show that you are not afraid of facing whatever it will throw at you, while a closed body language is often associated with fear and lack of interest. Friends can talk to you about everything, and strangers will quickly feel like they want to be your friends. Just by having this state of mind, you will already subconsciously choose certain types of poses and gestures. Here are a few examples. You will take up more space than usual. As a man, you can drape your arm over the next chair if one is available and slightly spread your legs to signal openness to the world. Most men tend to overdo such things and just look ridiculous while doing so. This is a manifestation of an incongruent state of mind and state of body. Try to be subtle when doing such things and do it in a casual way. In general, try to show your palms more to people you like. This was a signal that one wasn't carrying a weapon in older times and invites to friendship, while hiding your palms shows an urge to dominate and trying to hold the upper hand. When standing, put your feet shoulder-width apart and either slightly rotate them outwards or hold them in line with your legs. Don't put your feet fully together or rotate the feet inward. In general, make sure that your arms are not touching each other and your torso, as that indicates defensiveness. You should therefore also avoid to cross your arms in any way or hold something in front of you while covering your chest. The chest is a crucial part when it comes to convincing frankness. Make sure that you slightly push your chest towards the world and to pull your shoulders back and down and then relax into this pose. Again, no extremes are needed here. It has to become your second nature and look casual. The last important part is the head. There are 3 general poses the head can be in. The submissive one, where our head tilts downward, the arrogant way, where the chin points upwards, and the one of equality, where it points straight towards the world and other people. I will let you decide which one to take here. Number 2. Be grounded. You can be fully open towards the world and still come over as extremely unconfident if you don't master the second important state of mind. You can call it whatever you like, from easygoing or calm to relaxed and unbent. I like the word grounded the most. Whatever pose you take on, it will seem fake if you can't allow yourself to be grounded in the situation you are in. To help convince this state of mind, it firstly is advisable to move slower than you normally do. Fast and twitchy movements are a dead giveaway of you being uncomfortable. And as emotions tend to spread between people in direct contact, it will also influence them in a negative way. Walk slower and more casually instead of hectically running. Drink your coffee in a slow and relaxed manner and take your time instead of checking the clock all the time or being fidgety. Don't touch your face too often and stop tipping with your fingers on the desk. It makes you seem nervous and at unease. The definition of being cool is literally being a little colder emotionally when it comes to problems someone has. Life is too important to be taken seriously. Be grounded and comfortable, and watch out how it will influence the other person as well. A second way to showcase calmness is to remain in eye contact with those you speak to. When grounded, you rest your eyes on theirs for the majority of the time. Still, don't come off as creepy while staring deeply into the eyes of others all the time. Occasionally, watch other things around you while still showing that you are listening to the other person, for example, with a head nod. The third way of showing how grounded you are is to literally stand strong with both of your legs, while not being too concerned about what is happening around you. Just like a tree in the wind, don't put most of the weight of your body on one leg as it will not only cause a problem of muscular disbalances, but also come off as weak and unstable. Here is what Anne Washburn, an expert in body language, told her teenage son after he was complaining about getting picked in school.
And I wanted to share something that would send a different message out, but also send a different message to his subconscious. And so I chose legs. And I asked him, I said, at school, do you stand with your weight on one leg like this? And he goes, yeah, Mom, we all do, duh. And I'm like, well, Mr. Attitude, did you know when you stand with your weight like this, it sends a weak message. It sends a message you feel weak and that you could be easily knocked off balance. So I said, instead, if you'll come put your weight on both legs, when you're at your locker or up in front of the class, now this will send the message that you're strong in your foundation and people will treat you differently.
And that's basically it. Instead of giving you a ton of different poses and things to do that vary from situation to situation, I would rather have you remember the two mental states that lead to confident behavior. Be open and grounded no matter what. With them in place, it really doesn't matter too much what you do, as you will naturally do the right thing. You're at the house party with some new friends you just met at university, but desperately want to go home and are just staying a little longer out of courtesy. While all the others are engaging with each other, you have your legs crossed and pointing towards the door and your hands folded over your lap with a glass in your hand, while tipping it hastily with your finger, showcasing that you would rather be anywhere else but there. The others, of course, notice and slowly start to dislike you and your behavior. You remember the mantra, open and grounded no matter what, and think to yourself that because you have to stay at least for 2 more hours, you could at least try and enjoy the party. You move your legs towards the group and put your glass on the table while you start listening to the ones next to you and to watch their eyes. You open yourself up and become grounded in the situation, and you respond to the smiles you now get with a smile yourself, and leave the party relaxed and with a couple more friends to call your own. Thank you for watching. Like this video if you found it to be helpful and subscribe to the channel. Peace!